Hey friends, Leigh Brown with One Community Real Estate here. Today we're going to have a $16,000 conversation. Now you want to know what that means? All right, I'll get around to it because there's a story that has to come first so you will know where that $16,000 comes in. You should know that in a town right near mine, there's a situation going on where we need housing. And this happens a lot of time in communities. And one thing you might not know if you're a regular person who's not a realtor is that if y'all want jobs in an area, you have to have rooftops. But if you want to have rooftops, you kind of need to have jobs. Well, this area has a new employer coming in, and so the area is being proactive in figuring out what they need for housing. And this is where the National Association of Realtors came in and awarded a grant to this association, where several volunteer realtors and I are working together to help pull the information in so that we can help this community have great stability and longevity and, frankly, more economic growth. Well, in the process, we have engaged a local college to help us with the housing study because, hey, who better to do local work than local students who have a vested interest in making their own community better? Because, by the way, why do we discount young people so much? We totally should be leaning into their excitement and their willingness to go learn on behalf of making their communities better. Well, a situation happened, made my heart really sad. One of the young men in this class got super excited about what's going on. Oh my gosh, he can be a part of this catalyst for change to help this community grow, be a part of it, look at all the change that's going to happen, the lives that are going to be impacted, and all of his bright, shiny eye went out and said, you know what, I want to rent my apartment over here. I want to go live in this community where we're doing this research so I can be a part of the change. Right? I love this young man's heart. I mean, his heart just responded to his community. I mean, how amazing is that? Well, he went to an apartment complex and he inquired about vacancies and was told there were no vacancies for him. We don't know exactly why, but we might know why, because we've pulled some information on the apartment complex, and it could be because of the amount of melatonin in his skin. Could be because he's young and doesn't have a giant long history behind him. But it was disappointing because this young man hung his head and was saddened that he couldn't live out this brand new energy that he'd found for this community. Y'all, that's what we call a fair housing violation. Too often we look at things like federal fair housing and that it's a law, and you think about it as something like Jim Crow, which was obvious back decades ago, but there's still fair housing violations that happen every day, and frankly, we have to make it stop. It's not right, it's not fair, and just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, heavens, I'm a landlord. If you bring me a nice young man who's in college and wants to make my community better, baby, come on, put your application in. You can move in right now. Because I look at this young man, I'm thinking that's a future mayor of this community. That's a future city councilman. He's a future principal of the high school. I don't know what all he's going to do. Maybe he's an urban planner. I don't know. But why would we devastate his dreams by some rule that doesn't make any sense? So why is that a $16,000 question? Well, you should know, friends, that fair housing violations aren't cheap. Now, first of all, you have dampened this man's spirit, so that's not cool. But you should know that your first violation with federal fair housing is a $16,000 fine. Your subsequent violations, if you didn't learn anything after $16,000, will be $65,000. And if the Justice Department has to get involved, you could be talking $100,000 in fines. That doesn't include civil penalties if you have somebody who can take you to court on the civil side and sue you for damages. So all of that being aside, how about we just learn how to do the right thing by people? And I will tell you as well, one of the things that I love about being a realtor is that we know that a young man like this may not have a long credit history because his mom and daddy may be paying for college and he might not have had a job yet or a credit card or a reason to establish credit. And so as realtors, we're looking as advocates toward alternate credit scoring models so that if he's been paying his utilities on time, that will count towards his credit score. And if he has paid any other bills on time, that they will count as well, because as realtors, we absolutely believe in our communities. And we also believe that each of us could do a little bit better. So if in your head you're wondering if something you're about to say or do is a fair housing violation, well, don't do it Ask the questions, because frankly, if you're questioning yourself, it's probably sketch anyway, and you should do a little better. Because y'all, I don't want to lose any more excited young people who have a heart for making our communities better for the long haul. Because frankly, that's the kind of neighbors I want.